Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good day.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good to be here.
Good night.
Good morning. Oh, damn goodness.
Yeah, well, Loch Ness.
I was trying to think.
I mean, I didn't really win that. You lost it. Is what happened there.
I just, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to be clever, and unfortunately, I'm not clever. So that's the answer to that. If you're listening to this, well, Nick, you can say this is your bit. You normally say.
Well, I mean, that was the Loch Ness game. It's not a game. It's not really about Loch Ness.
But this is the Benji and Nick Show, your number one vintage television podcast in the world. That's right. We talk about old TV from the past, TV you might remember, TV you might want to forget. We look it over, have a little chin wag about it, a little chat, and see if it's worth your time and ours. This week we are continuing our watch along with part 2 of Doctor Who Inferno.
That's right, from 1970.
Good year.
Yeah. Well, not really. Our special guest reviewer, Shelley Dean, will be joining us direct from the USA of A.
United States of America and they just haven't worked out what the next thing is. And America again.
And she's going to share her heavily researched, noted and collated views on the subject, no doubt. And as usual, we'll make an attempt to contact the wandering Jamie Anderson, who's out and about again today. Who knows where he is?
He's a busy man.
But we're probably going to have to FaceTime him, see if that works.
See what he's up to. I expect he'll be on a train or on a plane or visiting John
I haven't got my
McCain.
phone, actually. I'll have to use my... Visiting John McCain, did you say?
Yeah.
I think he's dead,
I think he is, yeah. I think. Oh, well, maybe he's visiting... I don't know. In a moment, your email sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com. But first, the Benji and Nick Show is proud to be sponsored by The Village Shop, the online e-store run by the Unmutual website and Coit Media Limited. Your one-stop shop for all things Prisoner, Danger Man and Patrick McGoohan, including DVDs, Blu-rays, books, CDs, audio dramas, clothing, photos, homeware and gifts. New items are added weekly. The Benji and Nick Show listeners can enjoy a 10% discount on all purchases by using the code LOCHNESS10. That's all capital letters, no spaces, no complications. Put that in at the checkout and you'll get your discount. And also, as well as that, a further donation will be made to Hope House Children's Hospice at no cost to you. It's as simple as that. All you have to do if you want to check that out is go to www.theprisonershop.co.uk.
I wondered how many W's you were going to do then.
www. I realize if you do what they do, on the telly back in the old days, they really made sure they said the W's. www, because they had to say www. But in the olden days, they used to say, back in the day of, so we can get us on the website at www. Honestly, you feel like you're going to lose your mouth when you do it.
There's another offer, and you can use a code GOODNESS50, GOODNESS50, capital letters, no spaces, and that'll get you a 50% discount off Where Have I Been All My Life, the hardback memoirs of ITC actress Annette Andre, Jeannie in Randall and Hopkirk, and in loads of others, with a foreword by Roger Moore. We're going to have a look at the Prisoner Shop, aren't we?
Yeah, I've got something up here. You can get loads of different things. The thing that we're highlighting this week is the Prisoner Lotus 7 print. That's right, it's an 8x10 glossy photo print of Patrick McGoohan in the famous Lotus 7 car, filming the opening sequence for The Prisoner, which is a wicked opening sequence at that. It's brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing. It is the best starting sequence in television history.
It is. I actually think you're probably right there.
I sincerely believe that.
Interestingly enough, my dad's never seen The Prisoner.
What?
He's never sat down and watched The Prisoner. But weirdly enough, he knows the car from The Prisoner, and he, whenever there's a Lotus, he says, "Oh, Lotus 7 from The Prisoner," but he's never watched it. How bizarre! I wonder, maybe he'd watched it when he was younger and just forgot all about it. Who knows? But there we go.
I mean, he's a little bit older than me, isn't he?
How old is he? He's 60 something, 64. I think he's 64 this year. I think the Beatles are going to write a song about him. Well, he's a sort of in-betweeny age, really. He was probably still too young to see it when it was on the first time, and maybe too old to be interested in it when they showed the repeats in the 70s. He probably would have been out, living the life.
Whereas I was still too young to be doing that. So, interesting one. So, also, there's the website, nicholasbriggs.com. You can go there and there's stuff you can buy, and I will autograph it. There's photographs and CDs and DVDs, stuff that I've been involved in, really. So there's some movies as well that I've been in. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. You'll sign anything, won't you?
I will sign anything. Don't stand still for too long. I may sign you.
Just send a blank check and and he'll get it back. I don't think so. As well as that, you can also check out. You can always. I'm just talking now. You can send your emails.
What are you going to say?
You can send your emails to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
You can.
And when you send those in, they may get read out. Who knows?
Well, I'll start off with this epic one here, sent by Michael Herbert, who's written in a few times. Very interesting fellow. This was sent on the 23rd of September in the year 1625.
Good year, isn't it? That's a really good year.
Wasn't there who? That was before. Yeah, that was certainly before the Civil War. Anyway, the English Civil War I'm talking about.
English Civil War.
Hi, Benji and Nick. I enjoyed the podcast on the war games, but would argue that it is much more than just the final 2 episodes. I would argue, in fact, that it is a very fine piece of work. In this story, Mac and Terence show war as violent, brutal and pointless, controlled by ruthless leaders who place no value on human life and who, whilst apparently on different sides, German, British, Yankee, Southerner, are in fact all working together. Yeah, that would be very much Malcolm Hulke's narrative of war. They add to this by not giving the aliens any names, only titles such as the Security Chief and the Warlord. That's the security chief saying the Warlord. While we never learn the name of their planet, which is only ever referred to as the home planet. The writers go one further by showing that by combining together, the soldiers can defeat their rulers. Now that looks distinctly like Mac's touch. There you go. Sorry, I'd anticipated the point you were going to make, Michael. The serial seems to draw on Peter Hall. Sorry, the story. Hold on. I think I'm trying out someone else's teeth here. The serial seems to draw on Peter Watkins's drama documentary about a nuclear attack on Britain, The War Game, which was banned by the BBC in 1965, and also Joan Littlewood's theatre show Oh What a Lovely War, which was based on songs the soldiers made up themselves to the tunes of the day and sang during the war, mocking their generals. It's probably best watched as it was broadcast, i.e. an episode a week, in which case some of the admitted repetitions of escape and capture and escape again seem less intrusive, and the viewer can enjoy the serial's relentless energy. As regards Mike Pratt's musical career, 1961, he wrote the songs for a musical stage version of Mac Hulke and Eric Pace's TV play The Big Client, which premiered at the Bristol Old Vic in November 1961. The cast included Harry H. Corbett, you dirty old man, and Elizabeth Shepherd, who briefly replaced Honor Blackman in The Avengers before they decided she was not working and brought in Diana Rigg instead. Now that's interesting. I didn't know about that. Peter Ford reviewed the show for The Guardian. Mike Pratt has caught the brittle spirit of the piece in his music and lyrics. What then caused The Big Client to lose its edge in the theatre? The answer may lie apparently in the script and the fact that its climactic development is affected by bittiness of scene in spite of the ingenious job done by the designer Daphne Hare. But the burden lies more with the company. Val May's cast enact the play sharply, but with 1 or 2 exceptions. They have neither the voice nor the drive for singing music of this genre. It is thus left to the professional dancers to set the piece. That was from The Guardian, the 30th of November 1961. The reviewer for the stage said that the show ought to be as good a formula as most for entertainment of this kind, but at the first showing the impact was less than one would have expected. The characters conform to type, and some of the laugh lines generated by Malcolm Hulke and Eric Pace are good quality, but there are not enough of them. The lyrics of Mike Pratt's vocal number appear stronger than the music, but judgment on this is complicated by the lack of vocal accomplishment among the players. At any rate, for this kind of jazz come blues music, if there is a hit tune in the score, it is not given a chance to emerge in Val May's production. Wow, that's a harsh review, isn't it?
That is rather scathing.
But did he get an Ivor Novello award or was nominated for one? I can't remember. Kind regards, Michael Herbert. Anyway, do you remember you read out that Mike Pratt got an Ivor Novello? I can't. Why am I saying Ivor Novello and Novello?
I assume, yeah. I must have. I can't remember the details. I was merely reading it out. It means nothing to me. But
I was reading and not thinking.
But I assume so. Yeah, that was very interesting, wasn't it? Thank you, Michael, for sending that one in.
Very interesting.
We got one here from Neil Allen. Subject to this one is primordial soup. Don't know why I wanted to say it like that, but I did. Sent on the 22nd of the 9th, 2020, in the year of our Lord, 2132, the future. It says here, hi guys, thanks for all the great podcasting. It's still the #1 podcast for all things vintage. Thank you very much, certainly is. However, like a contestant on Mastermind, once you've got through the first round of specialist knowledge, you have to answer general knowledge. So, can I ask you a more general question about food? Although then again, this is a bit of a specialist subject to you both as well. So here's my question.
Yes.
With autumn fast approaching, what's the best soup to enjoy on a cold autumn evening? I mean, I always think vegetable soup is a lovely one for lunchtime.
Yes.
And then in the evening is a good chicken soup. Will always do the job.
Well, my wife's a vegetarian, so I'm not likely to get that.
It's true, yeah.
But I used to make a very good chicken soup, actually. Several of them. Yeah, I think vegetable soup or, onion soup.
Oh, nice onion soup is lovely, isn't it? That is very nice.
I remember, I think it's like the first Benji and Nick show I'm eating onion soup.
Oh, well, I mean, it
starts with me going...
Yes, you were. I remember. I think you wasn't the opening line, I'm eating soup or something like that, along those lines.
And I'd made it sometime before, some days or weeks before, and had frozen it and had thawed it that lunchtime. Discovered it in the fridge and thought, oh, lovely.
I'm having a bit of that. Well, of course, the correct answer to this one would, of course, be Nicholas Briggs' curry soup. I think is probably the finest of soups to have for Benji and Nick Show's official dish.
Yeah, we were sending Shelley pictures of it, weren't we? Yeah.
Carrying on with the email here, it says, my current favourite is mulligatawny soup. Is that how you... mulligatawny?
Yeah, his favourite's mulligatawny soup.
Mulligatawny soup. I've never had that, but it sounds really fun.
Yes,
however,
I can't remember what's in it.
Should we find out? Mulligatawny soup.
Yeah.
Mulligatawny.
With grated cheese and ground pepper on top as well.
Indian mulligatawny soup. A richly flavoured soup spiced with curry powder. Perfect
curry
for a cold
soup.
day. Curry soup with a dollop of tangy sour cream. That does sound fun, doesn't it? Butter, sunflower oil, an onion, 2 garlic cloves, 2 medium carrots, 2 celery sticks, sweet potato, apple, wow. Medium curry powder, vegetable chickens, I'm just reading this. 1 3/4 of boiling water, tomato puree, mango chutney, basmati rice, natural yogurt, sour cream, fresh coriander. That is it's sort of mega condensed curry, isn't it, really? That sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds great, yeah.
Oh, I know what to look out for next time I'm in a soup shop. Not that I ever find myself a soup kitchen, maybe. I suppose, as a Doctor Who fan, I should go for primordial soup, as featured in City of Death or Ghostlight. However, my local Tesco's doesn't appear to stock it. However, many times I ask, they just will not stock it. Might have to go to Waitrose. Yeah, Waitrose.
Yeah, I'm sure they have primordial soup.
Probably, they have everything else. Then again, the 7th Doctor didn't say to Ace not to try the soup in Ghostlight. Yeah, don't try the soup. Well, I heard a car.
A peep, peep, peep. Yeah, saying
yeah.
me, me, me. That was Sylvester McCoy driving past saying, "Stop doing my voice really badly.
Stop doing my voice badly, and don't eat the soup. Ace." Looking forward to hearing your views on soup, especially if grated cheese is acceptable on all soups, not just tomato. All my best, Neil. Well, there we go. I think
still peeping in the background there.
Yes, tell Sylvester so we're recording.
Yeah, but Sylvester, we're recording.
I'm sorry, but there we go. Thank you very much, Neil. I think you absolutely have just voiced our favourite soup from now on, I think.
Yes, I mean, the grated cheese business is a problem for me because I've got gallstones and cheese really sets them off. So I've excised cheese from my diet.
Maybe vegan cheese is the answer.
It's awful.
It is awful. I'm not going to lie.
I'd rather have no cheese. I'll just slip this little email in before I read out the next one. And this is from our good friend Colin Smith, who designs the lovely sort of magazine covers, which you might see the artwork on the file when you download it. He says, by the way, please tell the gang that the video cast, can we call it that? He says, was fantastic. I listened to the poddy as normal whilst making the cover, then later on watched the video with me tea. Have a good week, Colin. Big shout out to Colin and all his brilliant work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's certainly something we're looking to do a lot more of. We're in the process. I think we can say it without any details. We're in the process of kind of working out our Patreon stuff and getting that all sorted out. And one of those perks on there will be a video cast. So
indeed, that's our intention.
Indeed, so I'm glad it was a success.
Here's a longie. It's from David James, and he says, What clicks? Tell me more, with apologies to the opening scene of Genesis of the Daleks.
Tell me more.
Sent on the 21st of September in the year 1852. So David says, sorry this is a bit long. By all means, edit out any boring stuff. Too late. I'm just going to read the lot. Dear all, I hope this email finds you well. I write with groundbreaking etymological news. Not entomological, that's insects. It concerns the pejorative term Wocklek, as used by Benji about 8 minutes into the recent Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy episode to describe a shonkily constructed Dalek prop. I didn't realise you'd done this. As a fan Dalek builder and operator, I too was familiar with this term. You used it knowingly, did you, Benji?
Yes, I did, because I've never really spoken to anybody else that particularly remembers the term Wocklek, but I do remember that on certain Doctor Who forums, I think it might have actually been the Dalek Builders forum, that it was on the ban list of words you couldn't say, because if you said that Dalek looks a bit like a Wocklek, you could be insinuating that somebody's not done a very good job. Yeah.
Well, he recalls being told years ago that it had initially been coined to describe an especially odd specimen that did actually have a wok for a dome, and which showed up at a Dalek-themed convention that took place in the year 2000 in Liverpool, the space year 2000, organised by a group of that city's Doctor Who aficionados. I followed that event's organiser, Mike Hall, on Twitter, and when I asked him for his own memories, to my delight he replied, saying that he believed that one of the event's organisers had coined the term, and then followed up with this: the bloke who brought it repeatedly insisted it was a screen-used original, even to Ray Cusack's face, who just scoffed no and wandered off. To this day, I don't know if the guy was lying or if someone had sold him a pup. Not a wok. I myself have lost count of the number of times I've gently had to deflate someone's pride and what they think is a Shawcraft original by pointing out the many different ways in which it can't be.
I don't think I've ever met anybody selling a Dalek who hasn't said, oh yeah, this is screen use, it's original one. Like, always.
That one that the guy sold to Big Finish for The Office, he absolutely came up front and said, this isn't an original, this is just a display thing. He said, you can't even really use it properly,
Well, when I bought my Dalek years ago from a chap, he said it had been used in it, but it hadn't. I know it hadn't.
No, of course it hadn't.
It just obviously hasn't.
And nowadays, thanks to improved plans that owe their accuracy to DVD freeze framing and the internet's knack of putting like-minded single-issue lunatics of all kinds in touch with each other to share hints and encouragement, the fan-built Daleks emerging from workshops up and down the land are astonishingly faithful replicas, easily passing muster along those actually built for the show. In recent years, that distinction itself has blurred, with several fan builds appearing opposite Matt Smith in Asylum of the Daleks, and Peter Capaldi in Season 8's opening 2-part Dalek story. In the wider prop-building world, the R2-D2 units that appeared in the recent Star Wars trilogy were constructed by fan builders, whose work so impressed Lucasfilm executives at a convention that they were subsequently hired to work on the movies. That's like a dream come true.
Working droids.
Yeah, it's like me getting the job of the Daleks' voices as well. Incidentally, one of the many conventions I went to with one of my Daleks was A Galaxy of Stars in April 2005, which Benji mentioned as being the occasion where he first saw a Dalek in the flesh. Well,
really
Dalekanian.
Was, yeah.
All right, MDF and fiberglass. I recall it being a brilliant day, especially as it took place just as it was becoming clear that the regenerated Doctor Who was going to be a gigantic hit, which meant there was a lot of interest in the Daleks my fellow builders and I had brought along and spent the day beetling around in. My fondest memory of the day was watching Aliens of London in the bar at the convention venue with my friends, and none other than notorious sustenance kleptomaniac Michael Sheard. The chip stealer, whom we'd seen looking a little adrift and therefore asked over to our table. Fatal, mate, fatal. He was lovely company as we all watched the episode together. His passing was such a shock when it came a mere 4 months later at the surprisingly young age of 67. That is young, isn't it?
It is, far too young.
Yeah, he always had an older playing age. Astonishingly, he was only in his mid-30s when he played Lawrence Scarman in Pyramids of Mars. That is incredible. It's the baldness, you see. I noticed this in a lot of old TV, that a lot of younger actors played older actors, like the guy from Ghostlight, who gets turned into an ape, you know?
Yes.
I just saw him in an episode of The Avengers, which was made in 1968. Playing someone much older than the character he played in Ghostlight.
It's incredible. I mean, it's like Jeffrey Belden, isn't it? You know, he's in a million things. I've just watched him recently, and I've been watching Blot on the Landscape, which I absolutely love. And is
that the one where all the music's done with sort of?
Yeah, it's all like that. We'll have to cover it on this. It is fantastic. But he's in that one, and that was in the 80s, and it's similarly enough with with Michael Sheard. He appeared in the Coronation Street that I'm watching in 1989, playing some older gentleman, saying all these things like, in our time of life. You think, what? He's courting Emily Bishop. So it just goes to show playing age is definitely prevalent, isn't it?
Definitely a different age, yeah. So it says, best wishes, David James. P.S. My own first Dalek was a relatively famous one, Salvador, the shiny blue model built by Big Finish's very own Alistair Locke. I remember seeing it being loaded into a van outside the Hotel Leofric in Coventry. Oh gosh, I remember that place. Presumably at the end of a panopticon at some point in the late 80s or early 90s, as I was walking past on my way to Pizza Hut. I told Alistair this fact 20 years later in the bar at the Chalk Farm Roundhouse, just before the Radiophonic Workshop's first ever live show. Wow.
That's history, isn't it?
History, innit?
Well, thank you so much, David, for messaging in. I know that you kept me informed on Twitter about this one, so it's great. It's great to know that I haven't gone mad with the term Wocklek.
I completely missed it when you said it, I think. Or did I question it at the time?
I can't remember. It's funny that really brought me back to kind of the early days for me in Doctor Who and that fandom. And I'd actually say something very peculiar, is that sort of time just before 2005 as well was actually some of my favourite time to be a Doctor Who fan, actually, when it wasn't on the telly, just because it was such an oddity. It was so weird and it was so obscure, and I don't know, it was very strange, but happy memories. I do miss having a Dalek, I have to say. There's one for sale in town. There's one in the shopping centre for about 1,700, but I can't justify it. I can't. I bought my old one on eBay for £700. I think that was a steal. But you couldn't do anything. You couldn't get inside it, so it sort of felt like a bit of a waste of time, really. I haven't got enough room for a Dalek. No, well that's it. I used to have, in my old house, I had plenty of room for a Dalek, and it used to sit. It was we had a front room which my dad used as a waiting room. My dad's a psychotherapist, so it was ever so funny when people come in to talk about their
inner demons.
Their inner demons and the problems in their life, and then they sit down in the room with a Dalek. But of course, it was a great icebreaker because obviously people who might not be feeling too open to. Literally are opening, themselves up to talk about these things. Immediately went in and said, "Oh, that's a Dalek. Blah, blah, blah. Can I get a photo?" And it was almost a really good way of kind of getting people
that's really lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
To share. So
Dalek therapy.
Dalek therapy. There we go. So who would have thought that these creatures of hate could actually do something so beneficial? So there we go.
Nice.
It's like having Canine as a therapy dog. There's an idea.
I always say K9, not Canine.
K9. I'll just say Canine. Just
That's canine, like a canine tooth or
K9.
K9.
Well, I wouldn't know much about canine teeth because I've never had a filling nor anything else. I've always had lovely teeth that have never needed any work, so I'm unfamiliar with the canine as opposed to the canine.
Well, now is the time for Shelley Dean to join us. I've sent her an invitation and we await her arrival.
Hi, guys.
How's
Hello.
it going?
It is good. We
Excellent.
have reached Friday yet again.
We have.
I know.
Well, this goes out on the Sunday, but we always record it.
know.
We try to record it on the Friday. I've got a question for you here. Have you ever had mulligatawny soup?
Yes.
Do you
I don't
like...
remember off the top of my head what it is, but I know I've had it.
There we go. Well, that's all I wanted to know. It was
Refresh my memory, and I can see if I'm thinking of the same thing.
It's a sort of curry soup, essentially. It's a richly flavoured soup spiced with curry powder. It's perfect for a cold day, and you can
Are you
serve
reading
it with
that,
a.
or
Yes,
are
I
you
am.
saying
Yes.
He was trying
It's
to
a
sound
slightly
like...
flavoured curry powder.
Yes, and it's so simple to make. All you have to do is melt the butter with the oil into a large saucepan and stir in the onion. No, it's onion, cloves, garlic, carrots, celery, sweet potato, apple curry powder, and all that sort of jazz, really. Yeah.
So it's a thicker type of. It's like a stew, not like a soup.
No, well, I suppose it is a soup. It's like a sort of vegetable soup, really, but
Okay.
with a sort of curry tinge to it.
Okay. No,
Curry
no, it
tinge.
sounds. I know I've had it, but I don't know under what context I've had it.
During a meal?
And it wasn't. What was the discussion the other day about when? Because I watched that. I didn't watch. I listened to the show that you guys did where you made curry soup.
Curry soup.
It wasn't meant to be a soup, though.
I know. But and then my question had been, because Benji kept saying it's supposed to be lunchtime. Why are we having soup or dinner or something? And my question was, is that a Benji thing or is that like a British thing that soup wasn't allowed to be for dinner?
Well, I've always interpreted soup as a
Yeah.
kind of. I always think soup is good for lunch and soup is a good starter for dinner. But I
But
would. I
it
would
can't
never
be
have,
a meal of itself.
Not for for me. I just don't think I don't know. I sort of don't think I'd sit down and have a soup for my dinner. I don't know.
Well,
See, I
you
eat
would if
lots
you were
of
just
soup.
on your own and couldn't be bothered to cook a whole meal.
I don't know. I can always be bothered to cook a whole meal. I love
Can
cooking.
you?
Yeah, I love cooking. Yeah. I always
Have you
like a
never
good-
lived on your own and been desperately depressed and
Well, I mean,
fed up
obviously,
with
if
the
you're
world,
desperately-
and then
if
you
you-
just open a can of soup and you think, that'll do, I'm not worth anything else.
I mean, if I was, I don't know, if I was devastatingly depressed to eat something, I'd go for something more fun like beans on toast or an old classic like a bacon sandwich. You know.
Well, beans on toast, I haven't. I've not really liked baked beans until fairly recently, actually.
stuff of
Yeah.
stuff of
That's
the gods.
not an American thing.
You don't know what baked beans are, do you?
No, baked beans are an American thing.
Oh.
Putting them on a slice of toast is not an American thing. Not at
What do you do with them?
all. We eat them. They're like, yeah, you just put them on the side, or you eat them. They go with they're very they synonymous with like barbecue, like
like campfire stew.
yeah, but you know, you'd have like a 4th of July barbecue, and you'd have hot dogs and hamburgers and potato salad and baked beans.
Sounds really
And
good.
you just kind of plop all of that on your plate, and You just shovel it on in, as we
sounds
Americans like
perfect.
to do. But yeah, the beans on toast thing was not something I was familiar with until.
Have you tried it?
Yes, when the first time I came over there, my very first meal in London,
Yeah.
I went and I had a full English.
Oh, wow.
That's the
And
stuff of
Bit
legend.
of a
that is.
shocker.
it was amazing because we don't, to have the grilled tomatoes and the mushrooms and, we don't do that. And your bacon isn't nearly the same as our bacon.
No, yours is crunchy, isn't
Yes,
it?
ours is like thinly
you can
sliced.
pick yours up
Yeah.
and just eat it, yes,
You eat
which
it
is
with
much
your- yeah.
easier, yeah.
Yours is more like a what do you call it? A rasher? Is that?
Yeah,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Exactly
like a
that.
ham.
Yes.
It's a different cut of the pork.
Just getting so hungry. Welcome to the Benji and,
Yes,
and Shelley
we're
culinary
doing a
podcast.
cooking podcast now.
Well, cooking is this podcast is steeped in cooking legend, isn't it? Really, we have to do that as another podcast as a good.
I know, if only there weren't a
Cook-off.
pandemic, we would have done many more.
We would have released a cookbook.
Hey,
Who knows?
and I can do it virtually with you guys.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
2 different
Just put me on
versions.
Zoom,
Definitely.
Who can?
and we'll
cook
see
the-
whose comes out as a soup and whose comes out as a stew.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we could have turned the soup back into curry, but we
Yeah.
just were too hungry,
We were. I remember us being absolutely starving.
starving. And I remember saying we could reduce this, but it's going to take another 20 minutes, and I can't wait.
And we were
Also, we were drunk. to
we
be
were
fair.
drunk. We were drunk.
And you were quite hangry, Nick.
Yes, was I?
Yes.
Classic. I just remember eating
In the
lots of.
beginning, you were very snappy about things. You're like, bring me a beer. I asked for a beer.
I remember as well that I remember Jamie was really tired that day as well. He was really exhausted. I can't
Was
remember.
he?
I think he did. I think he'd been in meetings all day or something. But
He's
I remember
always in meetings.
he was
every
very
day.
very tired because
Yes.
we talked about all kinds of. We did make some cocktails, didn't we? I seem to
Yeah,
recall.
and
yeah,
I can't
that's the
remember.
thing.
There was a fancy name.
Hammer of God.
Hammer of God. That was it.
Killer cocktail, that is. Oh, my goodness.
It is
Yeah.
a winner. It is a winner.
Anyway. I mean, but totally, it's the road to ruin, to be quite
Yeah.
frank, a hammer of God.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, I mean,
it's
the
terrible.
name does not exactly sound
Exactly.
innocent.
It's so obvious. It's like a road sign saying you're going to go off the end of a cliff, and you the closer you get to the road sign, you think, oh, I don't know, I quite like that road sign. And you just end up just driving straight past it and off the cliff. Once you're
Yeah.
past the sign, you just go, ha ha ha, hammer of God. Terrible.
It's always that moment. I'll have another one. That's the danger, isn't it? Oh, I really like that. I'll have another one. And those words, I'll have another one.
And it is totally addictive. Yeah, I'm sure I must have said this, but Jamie said the first time that we had that cocktail in a particular establishment, after 2 of them, I grabbed his arm very, very roughly and said with a rictus kind of grin on my face, "This is the best drink I've ever had." I didn't even remember saying that until he reminded me a few days later, and I went, oh God, I remember saying that now.
Yeah.
Terrible. Anyway.
Alcohol.
The stuff of the gods. Dangerous territory.
Yes, anyone listening, please don't drink.
Yes, have
Or
have an
maybe-
orange squash instead and a few biscuits.
Very, very bad for so many reasons. Right, shall we watch Inferno Part
Episode
2?
2, yes. Part 2 is probably the more correct term. Yes.
Oh no, I think they actually called it episodes in those days.
It's so confusing.
Yes, it's
isn't it?
the title card that pops up on
Yeah.
when you're watching it. It says episode 2.
It was a big debate when Doctor Who came back in 2005. Russell T Davies had to make a ruling of whether they were going to call them parts or episodes. So,
Interesting.
I like episode, but it's
when did they change to parts? I think it was sometime in the Tom Baker era.
I
They
think
started
you're
calling them
right.
Part.
I think you're correct.
Write in and let us know. Right, are we ready? I've sneakily got mine ready. So we do a 3, 2, 1, and on the 1 we click play. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
There we go.
I'll just say what I always
Good.
say. There's that great title sequence. I think that's just how I open everyone. There's the scary face.
Oh.
All right, and I'm going to do my visual.
Hey, look at that.
What's it?
Oh, fantastic.
She's got John Levine's face sellotaped to hers.
Superb.
And green nail polish to simulate the green.
Oh, wow. The
You
green
really
nails.
above and beyond. Above and beyond, Shelley.
Amazing
We're not
work.
doing video now, so this is lost on everybody, but I'll
It's
post
for
a
us.
picture of it. How's that?
That's
Yeah, do it.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
There we go. All right. I promised I came through.
That's it. You always deliver the goods.
You do. Episode 2. So there we are, the classic Big Finish stock footage of a volcano that they used at every opportunity.
You mean Doctor Who, not Big Finish?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I meant Doctor Who, sorry. Gosh, doesn't John Levine look young?
Certainly does.
That was a great entrance there by that Primord, wasn't it? Just
It's funny as well when we were talking about, Doctor Who, how these, the 70s doesn't start until about 71 or 72, because it just looks like the 60s, doesn't it?
Definitely.
All these suits and everything's very beige as well.
Oh, there he is.
Uh-oh.
He's dribbling
Oh,
as
he's
well.
drooling. I didn't notice
Now,
that's the
You can
first
tell that bloke's
time.
never held a gun before. He was
Oh no, gosh, he has. He absolutely has. That's Derek Ware, and he's a really experienced stuntman. Knows all about weaponry. Yeah. And when you see it's Derek Ware, you know that someone's going to get thrown around because he's a stuntman.
Is he Havoc?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
member of Havoc. Pertwee looks young there as well, doesn't he? And the guy who's playing
Massive
the Primord,
gun, though, isn't it?
it's an FN rifle.
Oh, so loud.
They must have had the Primord guy must be mic'd and his clothes to get that.
Well,
noise,
you could
unless-
hear him breathing.
Yeah, he must have a
There's the
tucked in
famous
his-
trim phones in this. My great uncle used to make trim phones. Back in
Really?
the day, yeah, back in the
What was his name?
Malcolm.
Malcolm Clifford.
No, Malcolm Murray.
Oh, that's why I wanted the whole name.
Oh, and he lives at this address. In fact, here he is now.
Oh, it's hot.
I wish computers
It's pretty
actually
great
looked
that
like
Yeah, I
doctor
can hear
just-
him breathing.
The doctor just shot him there, gets the gun off the brigadier and shoots him through the head.
nice and casual. Oh, look at that. Ugh. It's like when you leave a coffee for too long, for a couple of days, and you come back to the mug.
He's done a poo on the wall.
I'm not wiping it up.
I love that eyebrow up.
He's got
yeah.
the best face.
You blithering idiots.
He's got a terrible telephone manner, hasn't he? He's very grumpy.
See, don't you miss that you can't hang up a phone like that anymore? Like to
Yes.
slam it down when
I've-
you're mad?
My main house telephone is an old 70s phone. It still works. So I do slam it down whenever I get the
Oh,
opportunity.
see, I don't have a landline anymore, so...
Not many people
Wow.
do. They are
No.
pointless. And the only people that phone landlines are nuisance phone callers. Oh,
Nuisance
next
phone
one.
callers
Oh.
and my mum and Steph's mum.
That's it. It was from my
That's why we
grandparent.
keep our landline for my mum to phone.
The
Yeah.
exclusive line.
It's like a bat phone. For the mom. It's the mom phone. The mom phone.
Little burgeoning romance here.
Oh, she's doing the hair. That means she likes him when she plays with
Is
her
that
hair.
it? The hair flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing the hanky. When a man knows he likes a lady is when he wipes his brow with a hanky.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but when I was younger and watched Inferno and I realised that we were supposed to think that she was attractive, I remember thinking, how? That's not true. She's not attractive. But now, as an older man, I'm finding her more attractive.
Age is a funny thing.
It is.
Wispy bit of hair at the back of the brigadier. He could have combed his hair a bit better.
Oh,
couldn't he?
gosh. Yes, I've never noticed that.
I've always noticed that about this story. This is Benton's first appearance, this story, after his 60s, after, invasion, and isn't it?
And he's dressed, unlike everybody else, he's dressed like he's about to climb up Mount Kilimanjaro. He's got so much gear on, I'm surprised he can even walk around.
See, Derek Ware was a good actor as well. He did play small parts and speaking parts, and then got beaten up.
It was the dream person you want, really. If you can do that and the stunts, then, you know.
Yeah. There used to be a kids' TV film review program called Clapperboard that used to be on in the 70s. And every now and again, they'd do a stunt special, and Derek Ware and his team would come and demonstrate loads of beatings up and shootings. So I was very familiar with
bet the
them.
kids loved that.
Oh, we loved that, yes.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
It was a great show as well. It really educated me about film. You know, they used to go behind the scenes, have all sorts of... You know, I remember the Murder on the Orient Express, the Albert Finney one. They had a whole behind-the-scenes feature on it and stuff, you know. They used to get access to great movies.
The magic of film.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they'll bring it back and do it for
he?
real. They'll say, yes, and this week we're going to toast a man alive.
It's interesting that they just walk up this gantry and have this conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? This could have been done in the studio somewhere, but they've just decided to do it on location.
It looks great, though. I mean, you know, it's shot
does.
on film. It looks glorious.
Excuse me, sir. I've just come up to ask you why you're up here. I think it was John Pertwee said... It was either John Pertwee or Nicholas Courtney who really didn't like heights.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It might have been John, actually. I can't remember. This is a very bad story, this, that I can't remember the point.
He's thinking, I'm so glad I'm not that man. I'll go down, I think.
No, wait. Go the other way.
I should have said.
Yeah, I think it was Derek Ware talking about John Pertwee saying he was really frightened of heights, but wanted to... Look, he's holding on to everything. You see,
That's interesting. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be scared up there.
Especially with that wind.
Yeah.
Well, it could just be accentuated
by... We're talking about baked
the...
beans again, are we?
Yeah. If I've been on the beans.
I love this. This is a proper action sequence, isn't it, here? And it's got a very eerie quality to it, because you think, what's going to happen when he gets there?
Well, it's the real, you know, and as well, watching this, you know, this particular season of Doctor Who and seeing all of this now, it's real grounded in the real world. Oh, look at that.
Ooh, drool floating in the wind.
The reason John Pertwee could do that going down steps is because he used to be a sailor.
Of course,
Oh, the sliding down the handrails?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was quite impressed when he did that, when I watched this.
That would have been instinct to him after having served in the Royal Navy.
Oh.
Because in an emergency, they just go... Because when a... Don't touch him! He's dribbled!
And he shat on the wall.
The man's a maniac. That's for him. He needs a haircut.
He's just drunk. He's had a hammer of God. Pretty dress, Petra.
It's like a tablecloth, isn't it?
And the length is quite appropriate for the laboratory setting that they are in.
Yes. Yeah. But it is the sort of lab full of people wearing inappropriate clothes, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yes. And another thing, Petra, I seem to have lost my tablecloth. Have you seen it anywhere?
Guilty.
It's like an old producer of mine, as well as ribbing me for wearing flowery shirts and saying, well, that's a nice blouse. What's your mother wearing today?
Oh, lovely.
He'd say things like, I've got a pair of curtains like that. And funnily enough, they've got a shirt-shaped hole in them. Like I'd made a shirt out of his curtains.
I like your flowery shirts.
Thank you.
It's a good look. It's a good look. I used to get ribbed because I used to wear pink shirts sometimes, and people would be... It was too progressive, you see.
I like a pink shirt.
It's nice. Pink's a good colour to wear.
It would
I hate that gender stereotyping of color. It's color. I'm a face painter, and I've done parties and events where a little boy will ask to have a rainbow painted, and his parents will be like, his dad especially, no, you can't have a rainbow. It's like, it's color. It's not
Seriously,
announcing anything. It's just all of the colors put together in one swoop. So yeah, that drives me crazy about colors being boys, girls.
Society
colour,
strange things.
I like the green of that ooze.
It's
green,
very nice,
the
isn't
colour
it?
of danger.
It's like Flubber, that film with Robin Williams. Yes, he's thinking, oh yeah, I've got a cocktail a bit like that.
It looks like a Midori.
Yeah.
What's in a Midori?
Midori is a melon flavored liqueur,
Ooh.
and it's
liqueur.
exactly that color.
Doctor, why am I wearing this wig?
That's not quite.
A lot of people have said that they kept putting her in different wigs and things so that the audience didn't ever really get to know her. But I don't think that's true, because rewatching The Avengers and with Tara King, she has a different hairstyle and wig every week.
Maybe that's just her thing, you know.
And sometimes in the middle of a story, she'll just go and choose another wig and be blonde for the rest of the story. It's quite fun.
And do they explain anything, or it's just you are expected to go, okay, she's blonde now?
Yeah. I know, but you see her choose the wig.
Yeah.
On screen. Yeah.
But there's not there's no plot as to, or storyline
not
as
really.
to why they never address it.
No, I mean, Steed made a comment about it in the last one. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
This very much is the story of facial hair. Just hair in general, really. Yeah, you got his beard, which isn't Lenin's beard there, and then Nicholas Courtney's moustache, you know, the combination of...
Well, his beard is real, isn't it?
I don't think it is.
Oh.
Especially
He
if
doesn't have it in the alternate,
Oh, of course.
which is the opposite of what we normally
You
think
thought
of
of
as...
A nitwit.
Sorry.
Just called him a nitwit. No, you're absolutely right. Of course.
Oh, no.
Oh, look, look, he's a maniac. Look at him. Here we go. Oh, this really hurts me, this.
Why would you do that?
Ow, 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 ow.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
He's in a...
So, yes, well, I wouldn't have done that, but I'm not a nitwit.
Yes, you know, he's in like a lab environment as well, and he just thinks
Yeah.
he can behave like that.
This story really hinges on the irrationality of his persona, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally character-driven.
And what are they discussing in the background?
Yes, they're saying, I
Peas
don't
and
know
carrots,
which scene
peas and
is
carrots,
this.
Peas and carrots.
I think it's my line next. You wouldn't rub your hand with a handkerchief if you'd burnt it, would you? That would hurt.
That would hurt.
I think he just had goo. I think because the glass was broken, the goo got on him.
Oh, right.
And it didn't burn him. It just,
I'm
got
seeing
on
this
his
through a
hand.
different
And then he's
prism.
going to put it back in his pocket. And handkerchiefs. Gross.
Oh, you're not a handkerchief person?
No, memories of my father when I was a kid offering me his handkerchief, and I'd be like, no, ew, you blow
There's
your
a
nose
booger in there.
Yes, no.
Yeah, I've never seen the appeal of a hanky personally.
I love handkerchiefs.
I
Just
think
in the top pocket, just pointing up,
No, but a utilized handkerchief?
Oh, no, I don't use
Yes,
them.
no, I'm talking about a
Yeah.
utilized, a one
Only
that
in
you
an
actually
emergency.
blow your nose in.
Well, in an emergency, I would. Well, of course, they were invented because people didn't have tissue paper.
Tissue.
So much.
I reckon John Pertwee's a real hanky man.
Hanky-panky.
Hanky panky man.
She's wearing a handkerchief.
I've got a phone
What's the
call
bat
here.
phone?
Speaking of
Oh,
landline, it's your mom.
Hold on. Hello.
This is very
Hello.
exciting.
It's not. It's the home phone.
We couldn't
You,
have
sir,
planned
are a
that.
nitwit.
Yeah, no, that's not real. That
I
facial hair.
don't think it's real.
No,
it's
no way.
It's far too, and it sits really strange
Yeah,
underneath
it's just
his.
plopped on.
Nah, he wishes he had a beard like that. I'm sure. Look, he's realised that maybe what he did was actually a really
no.
stupid thing to do.
My handkerchief didn't work.
Yeah,
Oh no.
the logic is gone. Yes, the thing about the sort of 70s and 60s, everybody's hair is bordering on too long, isn't it? For
Yeah.
people just don't have hair in that middle state.
It's like everyone in quarantine now who hasn't had a haircut in 7 months.
It's exactly that. It is exactly that. It's like me by the end of it all. It was awful. Absolutely.
See, we're
ghastly.
still in it, so
Oh gosh, yes, of course. It's quite tedious, isn't it? All that
it's
the lockdown
ridiculous.
process.
Yeah.
Means you can get lots of telly watch though. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah.
I see. I never think of John wearing that lovely blue velvet there. I've never really thought about it before. But of course, he is a velvet jacket. This is absolutely Nick's conversation. This is as well,
Yeah.
and he's going to be.
I think
gutted
Nick has that jacket.
He has he does have a very similar jacket.
I'm pretty sure he has a jacket that is that exact color, and velvet.
Oh no! Look at that. He's thinking, I'm going to sabotage everything. Why not?
And his hand, I don't know if you see it in this, but there's points where you see his left hand, and it's not green when it's supposed to be green now.
Classic BBC there,
Yeah.
continuity expert.
Continuity.
This is great though. He's just completely starting to lose it. He's but he shouldn't have been an idiot, quite frankly. Is the truth?
Nitwit.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's whacking everything now. Oh no, don't do it. I thought I'd locked the door. Well, no, you haven't, have you?
The door that's like a foot thick. Oh. That's my favorite. I want to learn how to do that.
Just to completely disable somebody with some
Just with
Venusian
my one
Aikido.
finger. Just confirm.
I love all the noises he always makes. Hike!
Yeah.
All that business. Venusian Aikido. Venusian Karate. Oh, Nick's back. Stumbling into view.
Hello. Oh, he can't hear me yet. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, sorry, I'm back.
Hello.
I just had a family issue, but it's all fine.
I hope nobody touched the goo. You just missed the best bit.
Oh, what happened?
When what's his name goes mental and tries to destroy everything. You know,
And then the doctor uses his magic karate finger and stops him dead in his tracks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the whole thing about the microcircuit, isn't it?
Yeah. He was mad. I have to stop him.
His hair is still not right.
It's going to be like that for the rest of the story.
That's
Maybe.
a shame.
Yes, Benji, what?
No, I was just sitting there thinking, how can he let that happen, and how can that happen on multiple days as well?
Well, I guess maybe any shot that we see his hair like that, they shot in one day.
In this block,
This whole episode would have been done in one day.
Oh, would it?
Mad.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, surely not the exterior shots though.
No, not the exterior, no.
It's not really a hard one to shoot indoors. It's just lots of people wandering around, isn't it? Really.
No one heard it. No one heard that.
Bessie.
Now, of course,
So
you
we
see
were-
Beth.
Oh,
on,
I was
sorry.
going to say, while you were away, we were discussing that I think you have a jacket exactly that color and that fabric, correct?
Sort
You
of,
have
yeah.
a velvet blazer.
I do, yes.
And what color? Is it that color?
Yeah, that black one, yeah.
I thought it was more greenish, like that one is. 'Cause that
That's
one's kind of-
green. I thought that's blue.
It's
I'm
got a
colourblind.
greenish or bluish.
That's black.
No.
It is black. He wore a black velvet jacket in this story.
Now, I'll tell you something.
Then it's
all
the
got-
lighting.
We've
Then
all
it's
got
the way the
different colour
lights are hitting
temperature on
it.
our screens.
I'll tell you something which I think they should have done but never actually bothered to do is this great setting here, the sort of workshop type place where the Doctor hangs out. I think that could have been a really fun fixture to have had throughout this, you know, the stuff where it's set on Earth, for the Doctor to have this sort of mad sort of study-like environment, because it doesn't
Yeah.
last out the run. But I quite like it, all the books hanging around. It feels almost, you know, you could always imagine him living in this sort of weird little place.
Well, it's like the interior of the TARDIS.
Exactly.
You know, that where some of the doctors have chosen to have bookshelves, and I know the Seventh Doctor, the interior of his TARDIS in the movie was very sitting back with a pipe in his leather chair with the bookcases and the whole thing.
Yes, yes.
A study, the
Yeah, absolutely.
old-timey study.
Well, there's a room like this a little bit like that in Day of the Daleks as well. But he couldn't have this place because this is near a power station or whatever.
Yes,
it
of
is.
course.
So,
Yeah, you're completely right. Conveniently placed nearby.
Well, no, it's because he's working there that he
site.
sets up shop there.
Because he needs that energy.
Yeah,
He's doing his own experiments with the
exactly.
energy.
He's using it for his own ends,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Hasn't Liz got a terrific coat on?
Yes.
Fantastic.
She's great.
She's brilliant. I wish we'd had. I wish we'd had more of her, and also more time to kind of get into the character a bit more, because I feel like she has such a brief time in the show.
But they felt that they didn't like the people making this show. You know, Barry and Terence didn't like the character of Liz Shaw because they felt that the Doctor needed a weaker female character to explain things to.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Then in comes
because
Jo
she was
Grant,
too clever.
who's cleverer than she is, but always, certainly at the start, always makes mistakes. And
Yeah, her USP is that she's pretty stupid. She failed her science O-level or something. Isn't it interesting? There we go. Wow.
Oh,
Of course, that episode seems shorter to me because
really
I
quick.
disappeared.
Well, you left.
you disappear to a parallel dimension midway.
Wow.
Love it.
Nice.
I could just carry on watching it. So
It is great, isn't it?
fab.
It's interesting how that final effect they have to do on film
Yes.
rather than as a video effect of the Doctor leaving there. They suddenly had that shot on location, or maybe at Ealing Film Studios. I'm not sure.
That was terrific fun. Terrific fun.
So, Shelley, you'd already watched all of this story. Obviously,
Yes.
Benji and I have watched it approximately 50,000 times.
Yeah.
Billion,
But,
zillion, trillion.
Yeah,
So-
that was my second time watching that particular. Hold on, I'm stopping it. There.
What's your summing up of it?
Oh, I love it. I mean, and especially having seen the whole thing all the way through at this point, it's just so much more enjoyable when you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what's going on. I just for me, any Doctor Who episode, I'll watch it when it comes on, and then I'll always rewatch it the next day, because I always, for my own, just being able to wrap my head around everything and absorb it all. Because
Yes.
I tend to get very emotional watching something the first time through, and I miss things. So yeah, I will continue to watch these again, since I'm not super familiar with the classic stuff.
Benji, what are your feelings having just seen it or seen that?
Love
movie?
it. Like I said, I could just watch more of it again.
It's great, isn't it?
It's been a long time since I've watched that one. You know, even though I watch a lot of the Pertwee stuff, I tend not to watch the earlier stuff as frequently as other stuff. But just fab, just great fun, a lovely story, and I love all the location stuff. I just think it looks great.
It's great. There's a great mood and feeling about it, isn't there?
Well,
It's
like
very-
you said
very
as well,
distinctive.
very distinctive, and also it's very bleak, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
There's a real bleak vibe. What about you, Nick? What have you taken?
Well, yeah, I was
away
just
from
thinking.
this?
I mean, doing some Carrie Blyton style music for Return of the Cybermen at the moment. I'm quite preoccupied with music stars, as indeed I always am. And it's the lack of the use of a particular composer composing precisely to picture, which gives this a strange. Doctor Who often seems tighter and neater, doesn't it? It's sort of like little tunes between scenes and, you know, very tightly composed, whereas this is just weird evolving noises. You're almost not aware that there's any music. It's just all that, you know, it's kind of, it makes it very unfriendly. Yeah.
I always feel with this particular first, season, as I think I've said before, feels very much like the sort of parallel universe of what if ITV made Doctor Who. It feels like a very,
Yes.
in the way it looks and the way it feels, it's a completely different show. But yeah, great fun.
Shall I see if we can call Jamie Anderson?
Yes,
Let's see if we
Janderson.
can. The Janderson.
Janderson.
John Janderson here.
Oh,
Blimey. Is he on a
I
steam
can't-
train or something?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
He's on
I've
top
got
of the
hiccups.
thing chasing a Primord.
He's got hiccups, he says.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to do anything. Oh, damn.
Well, for audio purposes, it's fine, but yeah, can you see me?
Oh, yes, I can see your head.
I can't see you at all.
Can he hear us?
No, he can't hear you.
Okay, can you just pass on that I think his hiccups are very adorable?
Shelley says your hiccups are very adorable.
Oh, thank you so much. They're quite annoying. I've had them for half an hour. So.
Half an hour. Hold your breath. Drink from something upside
Sorry.
down.
I've never had hiccups on a recording before, so this is very exciting.
Yeah, he's driving, so he can't.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
God, I hope you don't swerve every time you hiccup.
I've managed not to do that so far, but thank you for your well wishes. Anyway, I'm sorry I can't be with you properly.
Because yes, I
make
would
this
love
up.
to be able to see this.
It's me.
We've just watched episode 2 of Inferno.
Oh, excellent. And how did you enjoy that? How did Shelley enjoy that most of all, I think?
Shelley enjoyed it a lot.
Excellent. I'm very glad to hear it. What's better, Inferno episode 2 or my hiccups?
Hiccups.
Thank you. Perhaps we could do, in future, you could do a commentary on my hiccups.
For precisely half an hour.
Nick,
really
tell
quite
him he's
fun.
getting a good ab workout.
I am. It's annoying because they make me laugh as well, so it's just a ridiculous cacophony.
How bizarre. Well, should we just leave you to hiccuping then?
Well, yes, unless somebody's got an amazing solution, because the usual ones, scaring whatever and drinking upside down, I've tried those, not working. So,
Not working.
Wait, he tried to drink upside down while he was driving?
now I stopped for that, obviously.
Okay, good.
I'm not that multi-skilled.
Because that would have given you quite a shock trying to do that. That might have actually worked.
I do have a
Ensuing
suggestion.
accident would have cured my hiccups.
Shelley has a suggestion.
Tell him
Well, then they're
to hyperventilate.
Oh, God, is
Breathe
this
in
wise
and
when he's
out
driving?
really
Driving
fast.
the motorway, but thank you, Shelley. I think actually the Benji and Nick show has cured my hiccups.
Have you stopped?
I've literally stopped.
There we go.
See.
Let's wait for a little while.
Let's.
No, don't wait. I'm pretty sure they've gone.
Oh, I've got them now. No, I'm joking.
Seems
I
it
think
not.
you can officially now put that on your podcast marketing materials.
Brilliant.
Cures hiccups.
Cures
Yeah,
hiccups
there we go.
and insomnia.
Thank you so much. I'm so relieved because they're really getting to me.
There you go. You see, you had to concentrate. That's what does it.
Incredible. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Hey, it's a miracle. Right. Ta-ta for now then. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Now I've used you. Yes, goodbye. Thank you.
That's amazing.
We cured him. So what are we
Magic.
going to do next time? Something that's not Doctor Who, I think.
Does anybody fancy checking out Blot on the Landscape?
Yeah,
What
but
is it?
yes, explain to Shelley.
So Blot on the Landscape is it's a 1980s television series. It's
Based
just
on
like
a series of books.
It's based on a series of books, and it's Tom Sharp books. And it's fantastic. It's all about essentially some people trying to drive a motorway through a manor house, and then all the sort of residents and people like that are trying to stop it. And
So it's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
yeah, it's like that. But there's some people that want to stop it, and there are some people that want to accelerate it going through for personal gain. But it's just, I've never seen it before, and I've had it on DVD for a long time, and so I sat down and thought, I'll watch this. And I've just fallen in love with it. It's just so fantastic. It's like a visual cartoon. It's just so well cast and well acted. And
It's very,
just,
very English and eccentric, isn't it?
Okay.
very
Well,
much
you're-
so. Very much so. It's from
And
the
very
80s.
much that style of television around that time. It's all shot on videotape, I seem to remember.
Yes.
Is it? Yes. with lots of location work, but all on videotape. Is that right?
Yes, pretty much there. Yeah,
I remember.
absolutely.
And the
that.
music is all done vocally by someone going. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an orchestra of people doing instrument noises. It's very weird.
Like an a cappella group.
Yeah,
Where they
that's-
sing all the songs, and then there's people who do the drums, and there's people who do
yeah, they're imitating instruments, aren't they?
There's a little
Okay.
bit of keyboard, but it's mostly
Is
all. It's just very weird, but it's just such fun. It really is fun.
I've got all the books somewhere. Someone bought them for me. I've
Who's
never
the author?
read them.
Thomas Sharp?
Tom Sharp. Yeah, he's
Tom
famous for doing
Sharp.
Wilt as well. But it's got Blot on the Landscape, which has got David Suchet in it as Blot.
He became famous playing Poirot, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Christie.
He did a huge series.
I never
over
knew
here.
how that was pronounced.
Poirot.
Poirot.
Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it's got so many great people. It's got George Cole in there, Geraldine James, Julia Mackenzie. It's just, it is
It's
fantastic.
Shelley going, I've never heard of any of these people.
Not a one.
They are famous English TV actors.
And I'll probably recognize every single one of them once I see them, but by name, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, this is what this is about. We're exploring cultural differences.
Yes.
So, well, there we are.
Okay.
We have the first episode of Blot on the Landscape. We're going to watch and talk about that. If we like it,
Fabulous.
we might watch more. But yeah, I think is it time to get close to the microphone?
I think it is time to get close to the microphone, isn't it?
All right. Well, don't forget
Just
to
like
send
this,
your
you know.
emails to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com, and from me, Nick Briggs, it's goodbye.
For me, Benji C, it's could be.
And for me, Shelley, it's bye.
And I assume if Jamie was saying goodbye, he'd just hiccup.
No, he's cured. He's cured.
He's a reformed character.
Pressing stop now. Ka-chink.